Greetings again. I ended the last video by asking the question, are we doomed? Are we as African people doomed to this existence that we have right now in this country, Trinidad and Tobago, this beautiful island? Are we doomed to exist on the lowest rungs of society, with others just throwing our way whatever they don't want? Is that how we must continue to live and exist? That was the question, and my answer is definitely no. Definitely no. Definitely not. You see, even though we have no money, we have power. Even though we have no money, we have power. And when people can begin to understand that simple fact, we can begin to change our life experience. Because we have been taught to think that money equals power. The strongest power or the strongest energy is your own personal power, your spiritual power. When you can discover that power, there is nothing and no one that could keep you down, that could make you feel like a failure. You ever notice that sometimes you go into the home of somebody who other people on the outside would consider poor, because they don't have all the fancy stuff? They just what we would call getting by day to day. Have you ever met one of those people who could give you, who think you have a lot? They could give you hope. They could sit you down and teach you how to live, could tell you about life in ways that could help you along your path. And that person is considered poor. So, poor is not necessarily the absence of wealth or finances. And also we have people who have a lot of money, a lot of wealth, but they don't even understand themselves. They don't understand life. They're frustrated. They're more frustrated than those who are poor, because they have all that money and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to enjoy it. Alright? So let's get off this whole idea that we don't have power because we're poor. Alright? Let's get that out of the way. Let's forget about that. So we're saying that we have power. We have this spiritual power. But how do we access this power? This is a major question. This is a serious question, and the answer is simple, but the answer involves us having to admit that we're African people, having to admit and to understand our history, having to cross some of those demarcations, some of those boundaries that have been put there for us, and to recognize that our people weren't evil, they weren't bad, they weren't uh, devil worshippers. Having to come to terms with that and really to get in touch with African spiritual concepts that can take you to the depths of yourself. Because the only true way to free yourself and to get back into positions of power is via your spirituality. It is via your spirituality. And to be able to go there, you would need to love yourself a little bit. And in order to love yourself, you have to first know yourself. Alright? And knowing yourself involves history and it involves spirituality. History you could learn through reading, looking at videos, and understanding via the application of logic. The spiritual process is different. The spiritual process, to get involved in the spiritual process, you have to jump in. There's no two ways about it. Reading about it, you could read a million books and hear them say this and see them. You could even put yourself, a lot of people go into shrines and witness rituals, witness prayers and thanksgivings and all that. They go and they witness. And they take part and they hear the drum and they dance and they have a good time. But until you actually become, open yourself to that spiritual energy and become initiated and experience who you really are, you would not be self-aware. You would not be self-aware. And if we're thinking about doing something, building systems, putting things in place for children, for future generations, you got to take that leap. So I would advise you at first, yes, do some reading, get to know, so that you will neutralize some of the fears that have been implanted in your mind. Right? So you do some reading, get some of the history, realize that we were great before we were slaves, and that might build in you that desire to return to that greatness for yourself and for your children. So start by doing some reading on the history. You could even read books that talk about the spirituality, and that might put you on a course for further self-development, because that's where we have to go if we have to build anything different. Okay? The troubling thing about our society now, one of the troubling things is the crime situation. And as I said, African people are targeted because we are involved. A lot of our children are involved in criminal activities. Alright? And sometimes we ask why. Sometimes the parents, we say we're ashamed of them and we want to cast them out and all that kind of thing. But why are they so active criminally? And one of the things I think is that Our children observe us, they look at us. And also another aspect of African spirituality. Remember that these children that we have now were once ancestors. They are now reborn. They are looking at us, following the path that they know is going to take us nowhere. They're looking at us working hard. We're told to work hard. We're told to invest more time, more energy, more money. And that at the end of the day, we will reap rewards. They know that that's not true. They've lived it. And they know that that's not true. And they are back here now. And they are saying they're not going down that road again. They're not going down that road again because they know it's not leading anywhere in terms of upliftment and that kind of thing. So they are now deciding that they're not waiting anymore. Look at them, they're looking after instant gratification. They want what they think they deserve now. And so, even though illegally, unjustly, they are making sure that they put their hands on some semblance of wealth before they leave this planet again. So they didn't come back here to go down that same road that they've traveled before to end up at the same dead end. And we, as their parents now, we are not offering them any kind of hope. We haven't changed in how we do things. We're going along the same path, and they know where it's heading, and they know it's not taking them where they want to go. So even though some of them, every day, they die trying. Some of them end up incarcerated. Some of them end up with scarred for life, handicapped. But they have made their decision. They have decided that they are not going the way we are. And that they are going to put their hands, even though briefly, on some of the nation's wealth to which they think they're entitled. Now, is this right? Is this the way for us to go? Should we be supporting that kind of activity? Are they taking us any closer to where we need to be? We're going to look at answering some of those questions in the next video. Thank you for your time again.